Hi everybody, welcome to Microsoft Security Tech Accelerator. My name is Tony Themelis and I'm a Principal Product Manager in the Microsoft Purview Information Protection Group. Today we're going to talk about some of the market challenges with information protection that we try and solve for our customers. We'll give you an overview of the platform, what's new, and then two really exciting new topics. The first one is how we're expanding beyond Microsoft 365 to cover the entire data estate. And secondly, how we're extending protection to M365 Copilot. Some of the data security market challenges that we see today are really of a complex and multidimensional nature. Customers see many fragmented solutions, lots of applications, a broad data estate covering on-prem, cloud, multi-cloud, lots of infrastructures and device platforms. They also have to deal with industry regulations that are global, they're complex, and they're continuously evolving. And finally, they've got to consider the cost of data breaches. So all of these put together really bring to front the need for information protection. Today at Microsoft, we think of information protection together with data loss prevention and insider risk management in an adaptive protection scenario. So what this means is information protection allows you to classify and protect your sensitive information. Data loss prevention takes those signals and allows data leakage to be prevented. And insider risk management allows user behavior to be analyzed. And the three together work in an adaptive protection scenario. And we actually have adaptive protection policies that allow you to bring all three together. What is Microsoft Purview Information Protection? Well, the first thing is its three core services. A data classification service that allows our customers to very accurately detect sensitive information using advanced classification techniques, including AI-powered data classifiers. A sensitivity labeling service that allows customers to create labels and use those labels inside of their environment. And the third one is a rights management service that applies protection using encryption so that access can be controlled to sensitive information as it flows inside and out of a company. These three services are used by a lot of M365 capabilities that all of you know so well: Exchange, Teams, SharePoint, Power BI, Fabric. They are used in desktop and mobile devices, on the desktop covering both Windows and Mac. Office 365, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook. And Endpoint DLP is also enlightened with these three services. Third-party apps through Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps can be configured to be protected with the same three services. We also cover on-premises with the MIP scanner. And highlighted in yellow, I'm going to talk about in a little bit, is the new extension to multi-cloud covering Azure, Fabric, and Amazon S3. Other data security solutions like DLP and insider risk, like we said, are supported. Other compliance and purview solutions like communication compliance, e-discovery, data lifecycle management, PRIVA, and data governance, as well as other security solutions like Defender for Cloud and MDA. All of this is extendable via our SDK so that third parties can use this framework to extend to third-party applications, services, and infrastructures. We offer a number of best-in-class technologies with respect to classification. Sensitive info types cover regular expressions to detect credit card numbers, social security numbers, driver's license numbers globally. Named entities detect person names, addresses, drug names, medical terms and conditions. Exact data match allows customers to upload data sets of exact fields that they want to match inside of their data. New is OCR, optical character recognition, supports over 150 languages and image files and images embedded in PDFs. We have a machine learning platform. We call it trainable classifiers. We have over 35 pre-trained, ready-to-use trainable classifiers, and our customers can build their own. Another new one is credential-sensitive info types. We have 42 new credential information types that cover passwords, authentication strings, and allow our customers to detect threats from users sharing sensitive passwords in their environment. We also have a fingerprint sensitive info types. This detects exact or partial matches of sensitive intellectual property and is available in Exchange, SharePoint, Teams, and endpoint devices. Last but not least, a new addition is context-based classification. If you think about all of the other techniques are content-based, look for something sensitive inside the document. These look for something about the document, like a file extension or a location or a name or a property or a size, something about the document that makes it sensitive. And all of these can be combined in a very rich way to help identify sensitive information. Our labels cover both content and container labels. Content labels can be applied to Office applications, Power BI reports, and Azure data. They support access control, encryption, visual markings, and they can be applied either manually or automatically. Container labels can be applied to SharePoint sites, Teams channels, and M365 groups. And the protections that they support are access control, privacy settings, conditional access. And they can also be applied manually or by default in a label policy. By the way, all of these label types can be set in a label policy to be applied either mandatory or default, and label downgrades can be prevented according to the settings that you add. In order to help our customers get started, we offer templates. These templates combine the best of all of the sensitive info types that I was just describing and are a great way for customers to start, especially in regulatory environments where they need to respond to regulations. Policy simulation is a very important experience that allows our customers to try out their policies before actually deploying them. What this allows our customers to do is to create a policy, pick the scope, and then run a simulation. The important thing to note is this simulation is run in your production environment against production data without any impact on the actual users and files. The results show what the policy is doing, what it triggers, and it allows administrators to gain confidence in the protection policy. Simulation can be run over and over again, iteratively, so that our admins can experiment, fine-tune, and improve the accuracy, again, in a production environment against real data. And then once that is done, these policies can be turned on. Policy simulation is supported in automatic labeling, and it's supported in data lifecycle management, and we're about to release it in DLP as well. So it's a common platform that's going to be available across all of these information protection solutions. Some guiding principles for labeling data at scale. The first one is use the defaults that are available in a label policy so that when content is created or accessed, labels are set. This is available for files, emails, Power BI reports, and containers like SharePoint sites. And it allows new files created or existing unlabeled files when opened to get the right label right from the beginning. The second one is apply contextual attributes to your automatic labeling so that there what you can do is you can say, for example, any file that's in a specific SharePoint site gets a label. You can also say that any email that goes externally or goes to a specific domain gets a label. And then, of course, you can automatically apply labels based on content. These three work together, and the guiding principle is consider them all in unison so that you can get the best possible outcome for your information protection. We've extended information protection to cover PDF files. The first one is Office now supports saving a copy or exporting to PDF, whereby the label in the source Office document is inherited in the destination PDF file. The second one is SharePoint. Supports protected or encrypted PDFs so that they are completely supported with respect to intelligence services, search, e-discovery, security trimming, and they can be viewed. The third one, in automatic labeling, this also supports PDF files in addition to Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And lastly, Adobe Acrobat natively supports labels so that when users open protected PDFs, they can see the label and they can manually apply or change the label. Label policy is fully supported in Adobe Acrobat. I spoke a moment ago about default sensitivity labels for document libraries in SharePoint. In this feature, what's really, really nice is that admins and site owners, when they create a site, can automatically apply a label to all files in that site. Let me show you how that works. If we start with a site here as an example, and a site owner decides to create a new document library, they can say that confidential label is applied to all files in that site. So now when a user drags a document, they don't even have to think about the sensitivity. You can see that immediately a confidential sensitivity label was applied to that file because it exists in the confidential site. If you open this Word document as an example, you'll see that it got the label. That label is normally applied and users can interact with it just like in any other scenario. The library settings will always show the default sensitivity label that is applied for that site, and site owners can change that if they want to. We spoke a little bit about context classification. This is automatic classification based on file extension, document name, document property, document size, and document owner or document created by. Let me show you how this works. Here we see an administrator is creating an auto labeling policy. They give it a name. They go through to the settings, picking SharePoint and OneDrive. They pick the rules, and inside of the rule, they can now select these new conditions to apply. So for example, they can select file extensions. They can select the document name contains keywords like confidential. They could select the document property is. They can select the document size is greater than a certain amount. And they can select the owner of the document by user. This is a great new feature, especially when it's combined with other automatic labeling techniques to provide higher confidence and higher accuracy. It fully supports simulation mode, and the results can be reviewed by the administrator. And once they're satisfied with the accuracy, they can then go and turn this policy on. Next one is user-defined permissions for secure collaboration. Now, users can choose specific groups for read or change permissions at the file level. The protection travels with the document. Co-authoring is fully supported for these documents when they are stored at SharePoint. This is a beautiful new experience that Office has created to help users intuitively apply these user-defined permissions. Here you see in Word, a user gets a new menu where they can pick various permissions for the users when they authored the document, so that when the document is shared, these permissions are correctly applied. Next one is policy tips. This is an awesome new functionality. It's for DLP. When DLP rules are configured, these warning pop-ups are displayed, and they help admins ensure that users are justifying their actions when they're sharing data externally. The pop-up has a rich configuration so that justification can be required, input can be required in terms of explaining what the reason is for sharing the document outside, and of course, users can cancel if they want to. Double key encryption is now fully natively supported in M365 apps on Windows. With DKE, Microsoft stores one key in Azure, and our customers hold the other key, ensuring that they can only ever decrypt protected content under all circumstances. Sensitivity labels can be configured with DKE in Microsoft Purview in the compliance portal, and is available for Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Outlook to publish and consume protected content. Tracking and revocation is also now available, natively supported in built-in versions of Office. Users can access the Microsoft Purview compliance portal to check who has tried accessing their sensitivity labeled content, and they can revoke access when needed. Microsoft Fabric supports sensitivity labels with protection. Labels flow with the data between analytics workloads within Fabric, and sensitivity labels follow the data automatically as it flows from the Lakehouse to Power BI reports, and from there on to Microsoft 365 files and other assets that businesses use and rely on every day. One of the new areas that I'm super excited to talk to you about is the extension of Purview to your entire data estate. We have a new Purview portal that's going to start with your existing M365 assets, and it's going to extend to allow Azure, ADLS, Data Lake, and Amazon S3 to be included so that those assets can be labeled and protected. Customers will be able to use existing sensitivity labels or create new ones via the Microsoft Purview portal to extend security and compliance to assets covered in the Microsoft Purview data map. Like I said, these will be applied to Azure Data Lake, Azure Blob, SQL, and AWS S3. And it now supports label-based protection policies that will control access to information stored in these assets. The next item that I wanted to share is information protection for M365 Copilot. As AI is gaining ground, a lot of customers want to make sure that questions asked by users don't return sensitive information that shouldn't be shared more broadly than the policy intends. Copilot will honor access control restrictions on all labeled content. Only content that is being asked by the user, where the user is allowed to see the results, will be shown. If a user is not allowed to see the results, they'll see a reference to the file, but the results will not be shown because that file is protected. Copilot can also reason over data sensitivity. In this case, users can see the sensitivity of the document that they reference within the Copilot prompt. Users can also see the sensitivity within the citations of the Copilot output. In this case, you can see multiple citations and the relevant label within the citations that they're seeing. When it comes to questions and answers, sensitivity labels apply to the entire conversation with Copilot. Conversations will inherit the most restrictive sensitivity labels from references used to formulate a response. Copilot generated output is automatically labeled. So in this scenario over here, if a user chooses to edit in Word, well, the Word document is going to inherit, in terms of the references, the sensitivity label from the chat that it started off in. And lastly, automatic labeling will be fully supported in Copilot output. So as drafts are created and Copilot content is added, for example, in this scenario here, you can see Copilot content is being added to a Word document. Well, that is going to be fully subject to automatic labeling. Any sensitive info types or keywords will be detected, and labels will be applied automatically to the file. Here are some resources to learn more about all the items that I've just referred to. We have a number of blogs, interactive guides, some awesome mechanic videos there is a link for starting a free trial and a link for licensing comparison, so you can see what licenses are required for all of the features. We also have some great guides to help in deployment, to help with server-side auto-labeling, and some new ones for trainable classifiers for protecting source code. That's it for now. Thank you very much for listening.
In this video, you'll learn how you can conduct risk hunting and attack surface exploring. Select Cloud Security Explorer. Cloud Security Explorer equips security admins and power users with query-based tools and starter templates for risk hunting and resource exploring, enabling users to query the graph for their own custom findings. Select the Internet Exposed VMs template. To run the query, select Search. Choose another template to explore. This query returned storage accounts allowing HTTP access that contain sensitive data. Select a recommendation for the first result. Quick fix remediation is available for the affected resources. Apply the fix to your storage account. Next, select Clear All to start a custom search. Take a quick look at the different resource types you can select and query for. For this example, create a query for Azure SQL servers that contain sensitive data and are exposed to the Internet. Select Search to run the query. Select the first result. On the Resource Health page, the Data Classifications section shows the types of sensitive data this server contains. You can also review the security recommendations and alerts for the server. Next, you'll learn how Defender for Cloud can help you improve your organization's compliance posture. Select the Regulatory Compliance tile. Defender for Cloud helps streamline the process for meeting regulatory compliance requirements in your industry. As you act on the recommendations and reduce risk factors in your environment, your compliance posture improves. Under the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, select the first compliance control. Each compliance control has a set of associated assessments run by Defender for Cloud. The icons indicate whether an assessment is passing or failing. Drill into an assessment to see recommendations for improving compliance. Select the recommendation with a quick fix. This recommendation will prevent anonymous public access to blobs and containers on the Azure storage accounts you select. Apply this fix to the first resource. To prevent this from happening again and stop the creation of resources that do not satisfy the recommendation, select Deny. Set the scope and then select Change to Deny. Next, review the compliance controls for the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, or PCI DSS. To add standards to your dashboard, select Manage Compliance Policies. From this page, you can select a subscription or management group and identify the standards you want to add. Return to the Regulatory Compliance page. To see the subscriptions a standard has been applied to, select the link. Next, select Audit Reports. You can download certification reports for the standards applied to your subscriptions. For example, you can download a certificate demonstrating Microsoft Azure, Dynamics 365, and various Microsoft Online Services are PCI DSS certified. Open the downloaded file. You can share this file with relevant stakeholders. Now return to the Defender for Cloud Recommendations page. You can also search for a specific recommendation and identify the unhealthy resources you want to remediate. Go back to the previous page.
Next, you'll learn how the security governance capabilities of Defender for Cloud create clarity over responsibilities in your security team. Select Security Posture. From here, you can view recommendations assigned to a specific owner.
Next, select Environment Settings. Here, you can manage your subscriptions for Defender for Cloud. These are the Defender for Cloud plans enabled for this subscription. You can turn plans on and off as needed. Next, select Governance Rules. Assigning owners with due dates and defining governance rules creates accountability and transparency. Follow the prompts to add a rule. A weekly email will be sent to the specified owner and their manager with all the recommendations they are assigned to. Click the screen to see an example. This is an example of the email an owner will receive. This video is now complete. Thanks for watching.